Part 1. The Safavid Order. In 1219, a mysterious horde of horse riders descended from the north and stormed into Central Asia. They massacred the region's rich cities and left destruction in their wake. By 1258, they reached Baghdad, one of the largest cities in the world and the heart of the Islamic Golden Age. These warriors destroyed it too. The Caliph, the political and religious successor of the Prophet Muhammad, was rolled up into a rug and trampled to death. These riders were the Mongols. Their attack shocked the Islamic world. Cities, books, and schools were lost. Many Muslims felt scared and hopeless. But from this crisis, a new opportunity grew. Some Muslims turned away from strict traditions and focused more on a personal and emotional type of Islam, with a deeper connection to Allah. This led to the rise of Sufism, a mystical, ascetic, and emotional form of Islam. People followed Sufi saints and teachers, who were called sheikhs. These sheikhs often came from simple, humble lives and spoke to the hearts of common Muslims. Sufi religious orders offered a way to connect with Allah through love, music, and prayer. Unlike strict scholars in other parts of Islam, Sufi mystics focused on kindness and inner peace. Sheikh Safi ad-Din was one such Sufi mystic. He was born in 1252 in Ardabil, in what is now northwest Iran. His family, likely of Kurdish and or assimilated Azerbaijani origin, was well respected in the area. Safi was deeply religious, but also smart, determined, and good at both politics and business. He became a student of Sheikh Zahid Gilani, the head of a major Sufi order called the Zahidiyya order. Gilani trusted Safi so much that he chose him to lead after his death, even over his own son. When Gilani died in 1301, Safi took over the group. He renamed it the Safavid order and added local traditions to Gilani's teachings. People from many places, like Persia, Syria, Anatolia, and Mesopotamia, started following him. His followers included both Sunni and Shia Muslims, and even some who did not follow any specific branch of Islam. The Safavid order grew partially because the Mongol rulers of Persia, called the Ilkhans, did not interfere much with religion. This gave space for new religious leaders like Safi to grow in power. As the Mongols settled down, many of them adopted local religions like Islam, Buddhism, or Christianity. In some cases, Sunni and Shia Islam were chosen as the state religion, which helped Safi's ideas spread even more. After Safi died in 1334, he was buried in Ardabil. Ardabil then became a center for religion and learning, as pilgrims flocked to his tomb. His son, Sadr al-Din Musa, became the new leader of the Safavid order. Sadr began building a wide network of followers. He got involved in local politics and reached out to powerful rulers, like Jani Beg of the Golden Horde, and Timur, a rising warlord in Central Asia. At the same time, the Mongols were losing control in Persia. Many small, warring states filled the void. Sadr warned his followers to stay careful during this precarious time, and armed some of them to protect Ardabil. He worked to strengthen ties with local Shia Muslims and nearby Turkoman and Kurdish tribes. Sadr also found ways to support the order with money. Followers gave donations, and land taxes helped too, especially from growing support in Anatolia. This money helped buy land and support the poor of Ardabil. By the late 1300s, the Safavid order had become a powerful religious group, with deep ties to local rulers and communities. Sadr died in 1391. His son, Kavashi Ali, took over. He became a close friend to Timur, who now ruled much of Persia. Timur was interested in local religions and sponsored religious debate, and so he gave the Safavids local villages and helped spread its teachings. More importantly for the Safavids, Kavashi was a Twelver Shiite. Twelver Shia Muslims believed that only the Prophet Muhammad's family, through his cousin Ali, should lead the Muslim world. Meanwhile, 12 holy leaders, or imams, descendant of Muhammad, would act as pious examples for Muslims to follow. They believe the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, is hidden by Allah, and will return one day in the end times to end evil and injustice. After Kavashi died in 1427, his son Junyad led the Safavid order in a more Shiite-based and militant way. The growth of the Safavids in Ardabil worried nearby powers like the Ottoman Turks in Anatolia, and the two Turkoman tribes of Akyunlu and Karakyunlu in Persia and Mesopotamia. In 1448, Jahan Shah of the Karakyunlu forced Junyad to leave Ardabil. Junyad then traveled to Syria and Anatolia, spreading his message and gaining new followers. Uzun Hasan, Sultan of the Akyunlu and enemy of Jahan Shah, welcomed Junyad and allowed him to use his country as a base of operations. From this base, Junyad fought nearby groups, both Muslim and non-Muslim. He attacked places like Georgia and Circassia. Throughout the 1450s, he attacked the Sunni ruler of Shirvan and died in battle in 1460. His son Haydar then became the new leader. By then, many of the Safavid order's followers were nomadic Turkoman tribes. They believed in the Safavid cause and hoped for a better life. Many joined because they wanted the respect and reputation of being a Ghazi, a holy warrior. Haydar gave them red hats, so people called them Kizilbash, meaning redheads. Under Haydar, the Safavids became more influential. He built ties with the European countries like Austria and Venice, who wanted to weaken the Ottomans. But his growing power again upset nearby rulers, especially the Akyunlu under Uzun Hasan's son, Yaqub, and the ruler of Shirvan, Farrukh Yasar. In 1488, they teamed up and fought him. Looking to avenge his father, Haydar eagerly went to war, and died in battle in July, shot by an arrow. Part 2. Ismail. After Haydar's death, Sultan Yaqub put his sons, Ali, Ibrahim, and Ismail, in prison. When Yaqub died in 1490, the boys returned to Ardabil. The Safavid followers chose Ali, the oldest, as their new leader. Ali's rule was short but important. In 1492, someone tried to kill the Ottoman Sultan, Bayezid II. The Ottomans blamed the Safavids. They stopped sending money to Ardabil, and punished the many Safavid followers found in Anatolia. In Edirne, in the Balkans, a judge had many of them killed. Others were forced to leave. In 1494, Ali died in a battle against an Akyinlu prince. After Ali died, his younger brother Ismail became leader. Ismail was only 9 years old, and was a boy of a diverse background. His father was of course Haydar, a direct descendant of Safi ad-Din. His mother, Halima Begum, was the daughter of Hussein Hassan. Halima's mother was Despina Khatun, the daughter of the Greek emperor of Trebizond. To keep Ismail safe, Qizilbash leaders hid him in Lahishan, near the Caspian Sea. He lived there until 1498. There, he studied Shia Sufi teachings, and began to tell people he came from the family of Ali, whom all Shiites believe whose family should lead the Islamic world. In 1499, 12-year-old Ismail left hiding and entered a broken Persia. The Akyinlu, who ruled parts of Persia and Mesopotamia, were weak and fractured after Sultan Yaqub died. The old Timurid Empire had collapsed. The Uzbeks in Central Asia had taken many of its cities, and forced its last few princes, like Babur, to flee. Persia had no strong ruler, and many people were looking for hope. The chaos caused some Shiites to believe that the Mahdi would soon arrive. Some thought Ismail might be him, or at least a sign. Ismail already spread the idea that he came from Ali's family, which made his legitimacy even stronger. Many people began to believe in him. In 1500, Ismail raised his army of Qizilbash fighters. In December, he started a holy war to avenge his father and grandfather. He fought and killed Farrukh Hisar, then took the city of Baku. But he soon had to return when the Akyinlu army threatened him. In July 1501, Ismail's 7,000 men beat the Akyinlu's 30,000 at the Battle of Sharor. After this victory, he took control of Azerbaijan and entered the Akyinlu capital of Tabriz. There, at age 14, Ismail crowned himself Shah of Iran. When Ismail took control of Tabriz, he made Twelver Shi'ism the official religion of Persia. This was a risky move, as most people in Persia were Sunni Muslims. His advisors thought there would be violence, but Ismail refused to back down. He claimed he had a dream where Ali told him not to worry, and to arm the Qizilbash during Friday prayers in case of revolt. Some Sunni scholars fled to Sunni lands like Herat and Bukhara. Others were killed. Ismail used Shi'ism to unite his supporters and make his new empire stronger. It also helped set Persia apart from the Sunni Ottoman Empire, which soon became the Safavid Empire's arch-nemesis because of the religious difference. To spread Shi'ism, Ismail brought in teachers from Syria. He chose a minister, called the Sadr, to make sure people in Persia followed the new faith and stayed loyal to the Shah. The Safavid government also soon had to balance two important groups: the Persian-speaking Tajik bureaucrats, who ran the government, and the Turkoman Qizilbash warriors, who protected the country and expected top jobs because of it. To please the Qizilbash, Ismail gave them these jobs. But when the Qizilbash grew too strong, he replaced them with Persians, leading to anger and mistrust. When Ismail took Tabriz in 1501, he ruled only Azerbaijan and nearby areas. The Akyunu still held most of Persia and Mesopotamia, but their rule was falling apart. Ismail believed he had a right to their lands because he was the grandson of Husayn Hasan. After winning the Battle of Hamadan in 1503, Ismail took central and southern Persia. In 1504, he moved along the Caspian coast and into Yazd. By 1508, he had captured Baghdad and ended the Akyunu. In 1510, Ismail won a major victory at Marv in the east by defeating the Uzbeks and killing their Khan, Muhammad Shaybani. This gave him control of Khorasan. He then helped Babur retake his family's lost lands in Samarkand and Bukhara. But after capturing the two cities, Babur sent the Safavid troops home. When the Uzbeks returned, Babur had to flee. Ismail sent more troops, but they failed. His Qizilbash commanders refused to obey their Persian general, and in 1512, they lost a battle near Ghazwan. After this, Babur looked to India instead. That same year, the sons of Sultan Bayezid II fought for power. In the chaos, a Qizilbash leader led a revolt in southwestern Anatolia. Rebels attacked towns and fled to Safavid lands to recover. This pushed Bayezid to abdicate. His son Selim became Sultan and recognized the Safavids for what they were, a threat. He raised a huge army of 200,000 and prepared to invade Persia. In August 1514, Selim reached the Chaldiran Plain, west of Tabriz and north of Van. Ismail's generals told him to attack immediately, but he waited. This gave Selim time to prepare. The Ottomans set up cannons behind a wall of wagons. Ismail's army, made mostly of horsemen, would be unable to break through. On August 23rd, Ismail led a bold attack and beat one wing of the Ottoman army. But the Ottoman center stayed strong. Their muskets and cannons caused heavy losses, and Ismail had to retreat. Selim entered Tabriz, but left soon after, as his soldiers did not want to stay through winter. Still, Ismail's defeat was serious. The Safavids did not use gunpowder weapons, as they thought using them was wrong. This belief cost them the battle, and Ismail learned a precious lesson. After the loss, the Ottomans took much of Upper Mesopotamia from the Safavids. But Ismail cared more about his image. He had claimed to descend from the Prophet Muhammad, and some saw him as a Mahdi. This eventually resulted in Ismail developing a big ego, which was shattered completely when he faced his first ever defeat at Chaldiran. Afterwards, he stopped leading in battle and stayed out of politics. He began to wear black, drank more often, and spent his time at parties and writing poetry. Because of the defeat, his bond with his Qizilbash warriors broke. They lost faith in him and started acting like local feudal lords. Chaldiran weakened the Safavid state in other ways too. Many of the top Qizilbash leaders were killed in the battle, which let Persian officials gain more control over the country. In 1524, Ismail died in Tabriz, months before his 37th birthday. Part 3. Tahmasp. Ismail's oldest son, Tahmasp, became Shah of Iran at age 10. Because he was so young, he could not rule alone. The tribes that made up the Qizilbash took control. His teacher, Div Sultan of the Rumlu tribe, said that Ismail had trusted him to be Tahmasp's regent. But other leaders, like Kopek Sultan of the Ustajlu tribe, disagreed. Div moved against them anyway, warning of civil war. Kopek gave in, and ruled with Div and another man, Chwaha Sultan of the Tagalu tribe. In 1526, Div and Chwaha pushed Kopek out, beginning a civil war. Kopek returned, but failed to win and died. While the Qizilbash fought, the Uzbeks invaded. Chwaha blamed Div for allowing the invasion to take place, and told Tahmasp to kill him. Tahmasp shot him with an arrow, and Chwaha, now standing alone, took over the regency. In 1528, the Uzbeks attacked Herat. While Chwaha and other chiefs fled, Tahmasp stood firm and led a counterattack. The Safavids won, using small cannons and firearms they had since adopted after the Battle of Chaldiran. Later, Chwaha let Herat fall when it was besieged a second time. Its governor, Hussein Khan of the Shamlu tribe, was angry. He killed Chwaha, but then Chwaha's Tagalu tribe took revenge on Hussein's Shamlu tribe. Tahmasp had enough and ordered the slaughter of the Tagalu and executed Hussein in 1533. After 9 years of infighting between the Qizilbash, Tahmasp's royal authority was restored. Tahmasp was 19 when he restored his power, and the young adult astutely observed the dangers around him. To the west, the Ottomans under Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent were stronger than ever. They were the closest to the Safavid capital, Tabriz, and the rich area of Azerbaijan. To the east, the Uzbeks were farther away. They wanted Khorasan, which was less connected to the rest of the Safavid Empire. Losing Khorasan would hurt, but not as much as losing Azerbaijan. In 1533, Suleiman made peace with Austria. Then, he turned his attention to Persia. A former Safavid governor defected to the Ottomans and told them Persia was weak and busy fighting the Uzbeks. In 1534, the Ottomans invaded, taking Tabriz and Baghdad. A snowstorm forced them to leave Tabriz, but they kept the latter. Fighting a two-front war against the Ottomans and Uzbeks with an outnumbered army was a demanding task, so Tahmasp changed his tactics. When the Ottomans invaded again in 1535 and 1548, he avoided big battles. Instead, he destroyed crops, hid food, and cut off water while launching quick hit-and-run attacks. The Ottomans suffered from hunger and disease and had to retreat without a victory. Because Tabriz was so close to the Ottoman border and easy to attack, Tahmasp moved his capital deeper inland to Kazvin. Also during the war with the Ottomans, Safavid forces invaded the Caucasus. The land was rough and well defended, but they managed to place a Georgian prince named David in charge of Tbilisi. His army brought back 30,000 captives from Georgia, Armenia, and Circassia. These captives started to become part of the royal court and harem, army, and the palace guards. Many of them gained real power. This counteracted the influence of the Turkoman Qizilbash and Persian bureaucrats, and added a new ethnic element to the government. In 1554, the Ottomans attacked again. They raided towns in Armenia, but did not achieve much. By 1555, both sides were tired of over 2 decades of war. So, they signed the Peace of Amasya in May. The Ottomans kept Baghdad and Mesopotamia. The Safavids kept Azerbaijan, and split the Caucasus into 2 spheres of influence. Though Tahmasp lost land, he kept his throne intact. After years of war and instability, life in Safavid Persia started to improve. Cities grew, and trade inside the empire picked up. People lived quieter lives, full of thought, art, and learning, even with strict Shia clergymen watching closely. The late 1500s became a golden age for Persian art and books. Royal artists made beautiful versions of classic works like Ferdowsi's Shahnameh, Nizami's Kamseh, and Saadi's Gulistan. During this time, Tahmasp also gave shelter to 2 important figures. One was Humayun, the son of Babur, who had founded the Mughal Empire in India in 1526. In 1540, a rebel forced Humayun to flee. He reached Persia in 1544 and asked for help. Tahmasp agreed, but only if Humayun became a Shia Muslim. Humayun accepted, as he had no choice. With a small Safavid army, he took back his throne in 1555 and gave the border city of Kandahar to Tahmasp as part of the agreement. The other was Bayezid, son of Sultan Sulayman. In 1555, he fled to Persia after fighting over the succession with his brother Selim. Tahmasp welcomed him, but later handed him over to Sulayman to keep the peace with the Ottomans. In 1562, Selim ordered Bayezid and his sons to be killed. Though Tahmasp got little reward, he kept the peace and stayed on good terms with the Ottomans. In 1574, Tahmasp became very sick for 2 months. He almost died twice. While he was weak, the powerful Qizilbash chiefs started fighting again. They wanted to take control, just like they did when Shah Ismail died and Tahmasp was still a child. But this time, things were more complicated. Back in 1524, only the Qizilbash tribes fought for power. But by 1574, Georgians, Circassians, and Armenians had also become powerful in the court. Some of Tahmasp's wives came from these groups, and they wanted their sons to become the next Shah. If that happened, the Caucasians would gain more power in the empire. Tahmasp had 9 sons. 7 of them had Georgian or Circassian mothers. Only 2, Muhammad Khordadbeh and Ismail, had a Turkmen mother. But both had their weaknesses. Khordadbeh could barely see. Ismail had shown skill as a leader and soldier, but had been in jail for nearly 20 years on his father's orders. A vizier named Mansum Beg made Tahmasp fear that Ismail would usurp the throne, leading to his imprisonment. Mansum wanted another of Tahmasp's sons, Haydar, to rule. By 1575, the Qizilbash split into 2 groups, one for Ismail and one for Haydar. When Tahmasp died on May 24, 1576, without naming an heir, the Safavids faced a new power struggle over the throne. Part 4. Ismail II and Muhammad Khordadbeh. Soon after Shah Tahmasp died, blood was spilled. The day after his death, Haydar claimed the throne, but palace guards loyal to Ismail killed him. Their sister, Pari Khan Khanum, and the Qizilbash helped free Ismail from prison and made him Ismail II, the next Shah of Iran. Ismail II quickly proved dangerous and unstable. He killed and blinded 5 of his brothers and many other princes to remove threats to his throne. He even murdered his own allies. He used drugs often, which made him more violent and paranoid. One of his most surprising choices was to support Sunni Islam, even though the Safavid Empire had followed Shia Islam for years. This confused many people, as the Safavids had always supported Shia beliefs. Ismail II's love of drugs and favoritism towards Sunnis angered the Qizilbash. On November 24, 1577, Ismail II died suddenly, after ruling for just over a year. Many believe his sister, Pari Khan Khanum, poisoned him. Though Ismail II did kill off his brothers, one brother, Muhammad Qodabanda, survived, likely because Ismail II died before he could order his death. With few choices, the Qizilbash made Qodabanda the new Shah in early 1578. He was kind and liked poetry, but he was nearly blind and had little interest in ruling. Soon, a power struggle began between 2 strong women, his wife, Khair al-Nisa Begum, and his sister, Pari Khan. Pari Khan had led the court after Ismail II's death. But when Khair arrived in the capital, she quickly took control. That same night, her allies killed Pari Khan and her supporters. Khair gave her son Hamza top roles in government and placed her own allies in power. She tried to weaken the Qizilbash and give more power to Persian bureaucrats. She also sent Qodabanda's younger son, Abbas, far away to be the governor of Herat, so he wouldn't have as much influence in court. The Qizilbash soon grew angry at Khair's power and her refusal to listen to them. They told Qodabanda to remove her. He offered to exile her or step down, but she refused. In 1579, the Qizilbash stormed the palace and strangled her to death. With the confusion and chaos in the Safavid government, the Ottomans and Uzbeks saw a chance to strike. In spring 1578, Uzbek raiders attacked Khorasan, but the local governor fought them off. That same year, the Ottomans also attacked. They beat the Safavid army near Lake Sildir and took lands in Transcaucasia, Kurdistan, and Nuristan. In 1585, they even captured Tabriz. These losses did not bring the Safavid leaders together. Each group in the government cared more about their own power than protecting the empire. In 1581, a tutor named Ali Qoli Khan Shamlu declared young Prince Abbas to be the new Shah in Herat. But when Qodabanda marched in with his army, Ali Qoli gave up. Later, another man, Murshid Qoli Khan Ustajlu, took control of Prince Abbas. He gained support from other Qizilbash leaders and won loyalty from many parts of Persia. When Qodabanda left the capital and the Uzbeks invaded again, Murshid saw his chance. In October 1587, he marched into Qazvin and made Abbas the new Shah of Iran. No one fought back, not even Qodabanda. Though Persia was still very much in dire straits, Abbas would be destined to elevate the Safavids into a new golden age and restore its status as a powerful, stable empire.